Welcome back to the Current Electric Girls State Volleyball Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy. I'm Mike McGivern, my co-host, and she's been great. Rachel Cass, she's the head volleyball coach at Brown Deer High School, and she writes for Prep Dig. And I would recommend, again, if you want to know more about the state of Wisconsin and volleyball, read her stuff because she's great. Rachel, in Division II, Catholic Memorial against Luxembourg Casio, and these are two storied volleyball programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Both have just a huge history, multiple state championships.
You had told me earlier when you were in high school, Catholic Memorial was the team to beat. They were almost unstoppable at that point, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and they've just kind of continued that legacy.
They have. And when you take a look at their background, they had won 7 state championships between 2006 and 2016. And then legendary coach Ted Schulte stepped down, and their new coach came in, and Samantha's done a really good job. And to get them back to state, I think it's just a phenomenal run for her to be able to get them back. They tied for first in the Classic 8 with Heartland Arrowhead. And similar to, we had talked last segment about playing teams that are bigger schools than you and really tough competition. You know, Catholic Memorial does that night in and night out in that conference.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even faze them anymore. The high level of competition they play, it's just a part of their schedule.
Yeah, it really is. And they get... they've gotten that team back where Catholic Memorial is a school, and I know a bunch of people there, when they get to some state championships, they believe they belong there. And you know, you play as people are hunting you rather than being the hunted, or being the hunted rather than hunting teams. And Catholic Memorial in volleyball has had that reputation. Now, they haven't been in this state championship game in a while, but it's a team that I know that you're impressed with. What did you think about watching them in the semifinals?
Yeah, I mean, they play a clean game of volleyball. They were pretty relentless. Isabella Weber, outside hitter, she racked up some points for them, and you know, it's hard to find her on a bad day. Let's just put it that way. She comes ready to play. She's an absolute gamer, and she delivers every single time I've seen her play. And you look at setter Lucia Brown, just a senior leader. She's so gritty on the court. She's going to make plays that'll just make your jaw drop. And she's never going to let a ball, like no ball is ever done when she's on that side of the court.
As coaches, we love kids like that, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, Luxembourg Casio, and I didn't know a lot about them, but I've done a little bit of research. Jeff Fry is their head coach. They placed third in the Bay Conference this year. One of the stories behind the scenes that I really like is his daughter plays for him, and I had the opportunity to coach my son and in high school basketball, and it really is a whole different experience. To be able to coach your own kids. And sometimes it goes really well, and sometimes it doesn't go all that well. But a quote that I read in the newspaper about them is, after supporting her dad as a fan, Aubrey Fry became a major contributor to this year's squad, along with his spouse turning into not just a coach's wife, but a player's mom. And again, that's something I went through. This is something that these two, that Jeff and Aubrey, and certainly her mom and Jeff's wife, will be able to talk about for years to come. I know that my son Matthew and I have done that when it comes to basketball. But this family, this is more than just, you know, the school and this team and program. Now it touches their family. And I'm sure that Thanksgiving they're going to be talking about what happened in today's state championship game.
Oh, absolutely. And she's only a sophomore. She's one of the top recruits in this class. I mean, she's a stud. She can do it all. She's an outside hitter again. She never comes off the court for them or pretty much any team she plays on. She can pass, she can swing. She does it all, and she's consistent at it. That's the key. She's another player that will show up day in, day out, and she can just deliver.
when you talk about that consistency, that comes in the off season. And in volleyball, coach, there's not a ton of off season, as you know. Kids are playing for their school team, and they're playing on travel teams, and they're playing on club teams. But that's where that consistency comes in, right? It's memory, it's muscle memory, right? If you're doing it every single day, we used to talk a lot about you can't be undisciplined all day long and then get into the gym and try to be disciplined. I think that's where that consistency comes in for a kid like that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's also a lot of playing in these pressure situations. A lot of these athletes have played in club ball in these big moments before. And so just continuing to do that is just really key.
Coach, when we talk about Catholic Memorial and that rich history, well, Luxembourg Casio has the same. They maybe not as many state championships, but they won 3 in a row between 2019 and 2021. And Coach Fry had a quote that said, it gave me time to reflect just how special and how hard it is to get here. You start doing things every single year, and your school, your team, your program, your community starts expecting it. And then when you have to step back and you don't get there, you realize just how difficult it is to get to this point to be playing for a state championship.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it from day one, every single day, right? So much goes into getting there. So much has to go right. And there's just so much work every step of the way.
It's so hard. It's so
hard.
Yeah,
it's so
Coach,
hard.
If it wasn't so hard, everybody would do it. And
exactly.
It's just a really difficult thing. And as coaches, we know this. And sometimes we get a group of kids that understand it. And that's when you get to be, where Luxembourg Casio and Catholic Memorial are today. Later on this evening, they're going to be playing for a state championship up at the Rest Center. And I would love to know what's going on in the household of Coach Jeff Fry right now, right? He's nervous. His daughter's going to be a little nervous. His wife and the player's mom a little bit nervous. And as a retired coach, I miss that stuff. I really miss it. Coach, we're going to get to a break, Rachel, and on the other side of the break, we need to break down Division I, the big schools, and we will do that on the other side. This is the Current Electric Girls State Volleyball Championship Preview Show presented by Cannon and Dunphy, only on My 24.